everyone, welcome back. This is Shelly from Crafty Cottage Dreams. I have another Angie inspired journal, which is a custom order for Jane, and I really hope you like it, Jane. Yeah, my inspiration is definitely drawn from Angie. Now, just to let you all know, Angie is not on social media whatsoever. She has no Facebook, no Instagram, no YouTube. There's no way to get in contact with her whatsoever. All she does is create journals, and she blesses individuals with those journals she creates. So with that being said, she's really very, very inspiring, and of course this is an Angie inspired journal. However, it does reflect definitely my own touches within that journal. It's simply just an inspiration from her work. So I used original papers and documents within this journal, and along with using Sam Poole's haberdashery digital kit. I will list Sam Poole down in the description box, over to her Etsy shop, along with their YouTube channel. And I did use Heather over at Ruby and Pearl, some of her vintage photos, her children's vintage photos, because I think they're adorable. So I did use those. So I really want to, I'm kind of burnt out, guys. I've been doing, I work a lot. I work over 50 hours a week with my regular job. And it seems on the weekends that I've been doing a lot of creating. That's all I've been doing. So, again, with that being said, after this video is uploaded, Shelly needs to take a little bit of a break. I seem to not be able to get a heck of a whole lot done on the weekends, and I'm starting to feel that. I'm starting to feel a little burnt out. So, I'm going to be taking a short break because I need it, and I need to get caught up on other areas of my life that demand my attention as well, besides creating and doing videos, which we all know who does videos on YouTube and creates that these are very, very time consuming. So how about we just get started? Enough of me. How about we just get started? This is very, very, very huge. It's made out of a manila folder for the cover, and I just simply I like that look, so I do cut around here, and I add a little eyelet for the hole for the wrapping here, because I love the layered look, and I love being able to see the pages within the journal. I think it's beautiful, and yeah. So with that being said, it is 12 inches in length by, it's large, by 9 inches in width. And that is including the pages that are sticking out. Well, actually 8.5, guys. I lied. 8.5. And about 11.5 in length. Well, it's about 12 with everything that's, so 12 by 8.5. So it is quite large. And it's very hard sometimes to video these types of journals because of the large capacity. So it is chunky. And I love it. I love how it came out, and I really hope you like it, Jane. So I have this vintage button as a closure. Super cute. I love it. And I have this silk. It's in such the palest. It matches with Sam Poole's digitals here, and I thought it went perfectly. It's just so beautiful. So I'm going to leave that attached, but I am going to unravel it a bit. So here I did the binding, just 2 holes there, binding with some sari silk. And then I do have a lot of modern lace in here, but I also do have a lot of antique French lace in here as well. And some other bits and bobs, of course. Trying to get that sari silk off my hands. But yeah, we have this beautiful lace here. And then we have this beautiful tea-dyed applique. It's with pearls and sequins. And I added this sari silk bow. And the manila folder is absolutely the cover is covered with my vintage ledger pages. And then I just did some collaging with Sam Poole Designs here from her haberdashery kit. And I added some pearls down on the bottom just to tie in with everything. And on the back side, it's so hard. This journal is so large. Again, you can see that vintage ledger in the background. And again, I did, here's that beautiful French lace. Layering and collaging using Sam Poole Haberdashery Digitals. So beautiful, I love it. I just added some lace here and made a little bow. I really hope you guys can see. So I am definitely going to flip through this. There is some original ephemera in here as well, and I also made a lot of my own using Sam Poole's kits. Let's take a walk on the inside, guys. Here, I really hope you can see. Journal so large. And also, just to reinforce, I added some of that French lace within here as well. And I did a lot of collaging using Sam Poole Designs. And again, it is back with my vintage ledger, which I love. I added a little bow here I love using this stuff. It's awesome. I'm not sure the exact, what it's called, but anyway. So I just tied and made a little bow with that and the lace, and I added some pearls right up in here. It's a beautiful collage. And then we just have, and I like what I did here. So this is from an old curtain. My Aunt Peggy, hi Aunt Peggy, gave me a bunch of lace curtains, and what I did is made a little cluster here, but then I went through and sprayed it with Tim Holtz spray in Vintage or Tattered Rose, which I love, and I added that right on this little cluster of lace here. And then I added this beautiful, which tied in with the colors again, with, as you can see here, it has those exact colors in it. And I added this little flower. It's so cute. And then here I just have a little bulldog. It's a Tim Holtz bulldog clip, and you can get those anywhere really. Joann's, Amazon. So anyway, this is also a digital, which is Heather over at Ruby and Pearl. And I did take the time to make some antique tape with my Tim Holtz alcohol inks. So I, splattered that throughout the journal as well. And I added it here. And it's just like an old vintage receipt. And I added my old tape there. Then we have a little mini rose gold clip. And within that clip, we just have a little ephemera card here. Piano, just did some collaging with that tape that I created. And it is backed with cotton rag paper from my scraps, and I love it. Sample stamps, of course. And that just simply tucks right inside there, and that closes up. And we have some old vintage music paper here. And that clips there. And then here, you guys see, I have an old vintage envelope which I made into a pocket, and I simply did some collaging here with that tape that I've created, antique tape I'm gonna call it. Just have some German paper here, and on the inside, and this is sample, I think this one's, yes, Sample Designs with her stamps. And inside here, I've just created some ephemera cards and did some collaging. And this is also from Samples. It's her French little tabs there. Not really tabs, I forget what they're called, but they're in the back here too. You can certainly journal up in there. Sample stamp there. Here I just added a coffee dyed index card using Sample stamps here in the front. You can certainly journal on that. And then here we have an old letter, and I'm not going to read it. So Jane, when you get this, you can read it. It's so fun to get these. I love putting them in my journals. I have a ton of them. And it's to Mr. Samuel Scott Jr. Dated April 13th, 1932. And it is from Dora to Sammy. I've put these in my journals before. And that just tucks right inside there. And then we have, everything in here is vintage and antique, the papers. This is all in French. And it's from the Journal de Mademoiselle magazine. And I love this. This is definitely cotton rag. I did add some German tape here. And it's from the Portfolio. And this is dated back from, I know I have other pages in here. I just love the texture. I love it. It's dated back from 18 something. But then we have the Solande, and it's from 1874. And I just added some crocheted lace up here on the top. And then we have this old French, this is cotton rag as well, dated from the 1800s. It's beautiful. And then I'm not sure of the date in here, but this is an advertisement page. And I'm going to see if I can try to find a date. I don't know. All I know is that it is old, and it does have some sort of embossing. I don't know if you can, it is fragile. Pick it up on camera, but it does have embossing throughout. It's pretty cool. I'm not seeing a date, but it is old, and I just have some sari silk. And I also have some washi tape here along the bottom. And here, this page is from La Décoration de la Maison. I cannot speak French, but I love the illustrations here. It's so silly. And it's got like a pattern And here, this is dated from September 1st, 1899. It's the Courrier de la Mode. It's also from the Journal des Mademoiselles. And I added some of that antique, it's just using regular tape and Tim Holtz alcohol inks to kind of, that tape there. I'm going to push this back a little bit. And then here we have an old, it's definitely in French, but I've added these in my journals before. I added some sari silk down here on the bottom. I have a little mini clip here. And here, these were so inspired by Heather over at Ruby and Pearl, and which she was inspired by Angie. So I love how we all inspire each other. But I just created these little window, I will post that video down below in the description box, the video on how to create these. But they're so stinking cute and I love them. You can certainly journal in the back. And here, this is so old, I added some of that tape there. Marie Louise. It's some advertisement for some perfume. I love it. And here we have Punch, or the London Charivari, August 29th from 1885. I love the illustrations. And here is that rag paper, guys. I love it. And it is dated Philadelphia, Saturday, August 31st, 1805. And it had that little crease in there. I left it as is. It's from the portfolio. It's old. Sturdy, but so old. And I love the patina of it and the feel. Take a sip of my coffee, guys. All right. So I'm going to take this little bulldog clip off first. I have a bulldog clip here, and attached we have some pearls, just something Jane can play with, or she can leave it as is. And these are from Esme's shop over at Crafty Me Shop on Facebook. Just some little goodies to play with. Oops. So pretty. So I'm going to set that there. And this is my favorite. And I didn't want to let it go, but I'm letting it go. This is for you, Jane. It is dated 1891. And I forget what they actually call these, but it has the old still. I mean, look, this is a gorgeous, gorgeous piece. And on the inside, ta-da! Isn't it so beautiful? Look at how small. I love the embossing. The paper is just absolutely gorgeous. And again, it's made out of that cotton rag paper. It's so beautiful. Isn't it beautiful? I love it. And here, this is from the Boston Music Company. And it does have, I did get this when I was in Corning visiting my sister a couple years back. And I finally used it. It is from Antique Shop, and it's, well, from music, obviously. But I got too many goodies in here. Okay. So, and I love that. And which on the other side, you will see I did hand stitch a French lace pocket on the other side, but I wanted to clip this back up. So pretty. And on the other side, oops. Okay. Here is this. Here you can see where I did the stitching. I hope you can see. Again, it's very hard to videotape these journals because they are so large. Here's that French lace, and I did the stitching all around. I added some antique lace here also on the top with a rusted safety pin. And then I took, this is from Sample too, which you can see I just added that brad to this lace, so it just hung there. And I added some vintage lace within here. It's so cute. And then on the inside, we have an ephemera card, which I've created using Sample Designs, and her stamps. That is one. And here is another one. Sample stamp, and I use the tape throughout those cards. And then we just have some, I used a brad. There's a couple here, and it's from, I'm not exactly sure, but they're super cute. I just love them, so I added a couple of those. And then here is another coffee dyed index card with Sample stamps. You can certainly journal. And then here, this is Ruby and Pearl's little envelopes, digital envelopes, which I love. I just used some washi tape here on the side, added some vintage lace around that envelope. And on the inside, we just have, this is from Sample. I added a brad with some old ledger and her digitals. I believe that's one of her digitals. And on the inside, I just have a little snippet here of her French labels. And then I added a little ephemera card. And this is Heather's over at Ruby and Pearl. And I just did, and this is Ruby and Pearl's antique ledger too. Super cute. And that just tucks right in that envelope. And it tucks right in here. Oops, sorry guys. And then we have an old French book page. And this is actually digital from Ruby and Pearl, I believe. Yes. Oh my God. And then we have that old, and I just added some sari silk, another page from the Journal de Mademoiselle. And I just love this. I love the illustration on that. It's so beautiful. And then here we have some vintage music paper, and I just simply did some collaging on there. And here is that, like I said before, I added a couple in that back pocket, which is right here. I just did some collaging with it, and here it is dated 1923. So whether these, I'm not sure exactly what these are, but they're super cool. And then I added some vintage lace, and I'm pretty sure you guys can't see. Some crocheted lace here on the side, and I did spray it with the Tattered Rose spray. Here's that vintage music paper. French book page. And this is from Les Landes, 1874. I love the illustrations on that. Super cool. Here is again another page from the portfolio. An old rag paper. It's old, 1800s, guys. Vintage music paper. And here I just have, it's in French. And here I just made an ephemera card, Sample Designs. It is Aunt Dolly. And on the other side of this, I had some vintage envelopes. And here you can see through there, it's sample designs there. I just added a little snippet of vintage lace there with a vintage button with the original thread still already on. And on the inside, I just have a little scrappy pad of all, I just tied it like you would an original document, but it's filled with scraps that I had left over, and I figured Jane would like them. It's from the French War. And then we have an old antique ledger page. We have some, it's not wax paper. It's, I don't know, but I love the crunchy, not wax paper, but what is that paper called? But anyway, it's in there. I love the color of it. An old book page, old book pages, some ledger, avocado dyed ledger, and vintage ledger. And then I just have this little scrap here. And then we have an ephemera card that I've created. Just did some collaging with that tape. Here's the back, can certainly journal in the back. An index card with some samples stamped. And then in here, we do have another letter. And this is from Doris from Sammy. Dated 1935, I believe. It's quite long. Officers Club, Fort Knox, Kentucky. So cool. I believe there's 4 pages. There is, yep. So Jane can read that when she receives this journal. And that just tucks right inside here. And there is, as you can see through that window, there's, now there's another woman there too. And that is definitely adhered back there. And here's another ephemera card. Something. There we go. Another ephemera card I created. Here's the back. And I also made it, she tucks right in there, so also. And let's put these all back. This little mini bulldog clip also helps hold everything in there together. And I love this illustration. Love this. Here's that rag paper. Here again, this is from Punch or the London Carnivore. Interiors and Exteriors, number 17, August 29th, 1885. Old French book page. La Belle Gabrielle. And then here, of course, I love these. I forget, that's from the Journal de Mademoiselle. It's all in French. And then, of course, I have to make a little scrappy pad. I just punched 2 holes there, added some sari silk, and then I did some collaging on the front, sari silk, with a little bit of vintage lace and a little safety pin, sample stamps. This is Heather's over at Ruby and Pearl Image. Added some rhinestones and a beautiful crocheted flower. Just a little scrappy pad. Again, here is that paper. I love the sound of it. Old French book page. Ledger, avocado dyed ledger. French book page. Just a little cute scrappy pad there that I always love including. I love, love, love. I love the feel of that. It feels like fabric. We have an old vintage music sheet paper in here. I just did some stenciling, added some of that tape I created, and sample stamp here in the front. And then here, this does fold over. I added some German tape here, and it's the Muss Universal. I love that illustration. And here is that, again, that from the portfolio, dated back in 1800s. I love it. It feels like fabric. And I love the patina of it. And this is from my McCall's magazine, March 1909. I love the illustrations. And here's the center of the journal. And as you can see, it's how it is binded. I love sari silk. I don't like these little stragglers. But that's the way it is. And here I just did some collaging, added some vintage lace, and I added this little, I love the color of that little flower. Some old ledger, an old French book page, sample stamps. It's that vintage music paper, rag paper. And this is the illustration from De Mademoiselle. I love it. And here is another one of those, like window. It's hard to explain how to create it, but I just cut out that window, added Heather's cute little digital there in the back, and just did some collaging. You can certainly journal in the back. Where am I at with time? 34 minutes. Old French book page. Rag paper. Love the illustrations in these. In here, again, I made another, using a vintage envelope. I made a pocket. I did some stenciling here. Added a little cluster of crochet lace, vintage lace, and added a little safety pin. And within that, we have, again, leftover scraps. I did it, just did document style there. An old book page. ledger, vintage ledger, not wax paper, but you know, you guys probably know what I'm talking. I know what it is. It's just I can't spit it out right now. Avocado ledger, book page, avocado ledger, vintage ledger. Just something to play with, leave as is. You can certainly journal in these little scrappy, dappy pads. And then we have a little mini bulldog clip there. And then we have an ephemera card. Sample date in the back there, using our stamps. And then we have another letter to Doris from Sammy. Dated 1935, March 1935. And that just tucks right in there. That vintage music paper. And then on this side, this is Heather over at Ruby and Pearls. And I added some of my tape. And then on the inside, we just have a little ephemera card that I've created using rag paper from my scraps, sample stamps, Ruby and Pearl, and mid-share. Rag paper, French book pages. I love this music sheet. That's from the antique shop, and I did enforce it. You'll see some washi tape in through here just for added enforcement. I'm gonna have some coffee, guys. Excuse me. And then we have another scrappy pad here. I just did some collaging in the front, sample stamps. This is Heather over at Ruby and Pearl. Added some bling, sari silk with vintage lace and a safety pin, crocheted lace, flower here, sari silk, French book page. I love that. Vintage ledger, French book page, sample digital, French book page, avocado dyed ledger. Super cute. I love making these. I always add them in my journals. Love that. German tape here on the side. And again, here is, I probably won't take it off, but I'll take it off. Another one of those window. Just did some collaging. And here we have a crocheted lace pocket. I entwined some sari silk. Not sure if you guys can see. I really hope you can. And then I added trying to be careful as well. This is, as you can see, the sari silk is entwined through this crocheted lace. I added sari silk little bow here on the bottom, and then used this brad and attached it to this pocket. And this is sample designs, and added some vintage lace in there. This journal is so heavy. And then, let's see, we're almost to the end, guys. Here is Heather's Digital. I added some vintage lace to wrap around there with a bow. Her envelopes, they're so cute. I love them. And here I just added, it's from Sample Designs here. I added a little brad and attached that. And on the inside, I used a safety pin and attached the leftover scraps from the ledger. So you have 3 vintage ledgers there. And on this side, I just clipped on using Heather over at Ruby and Pearl. Her little, isn't she cute? And I stamped Paris on the top. Just a little ephemera card that tucks right in there. And that goes inside this little envelope. And I use some washi tape on the side here. And then here are these, just attached with a brad. They're dated 1923. I don't know if they're like prescriptions of some sort, or I think, I don't know. Anyway, index card with sample stamp you can journal on. Here again, we have another ephemera card that I've created using Sample Designs. And I stamped here using her stamps in the back. Here's that washi tape and that beautiful vintage music paper. And this is from Doris to Sammy. Dated August 4th, 1936. Let's put that back in the envelope. And that tucks right in that pocket. Let's put everything back. There we go. And that's from that antique shop, the Boston Music Company. That's the other side of that. And here we have another ephemera card using Sample Designs, sample stamps. I love, and here's that crinkle. I love that. 1800s. I love these papers. My tape, washi tape, just for added stability. Here again we have another one of those that I've created. Super cute. Certainly journal in the back. And here is a page from the Journal de Mademoiselle. And here I have, this is from Esme's shop. It's so beautiful. And I hope you guys can see. I just added it to the side of that page. So pretty. See that lace? Here's the other side of that. And I added some tape. God, this journal is so large. It's hard to fit on my desk. Cotton rag, guys. Cotton rag. Love it. Love it. These pages are so old. And then here is a little collage I did. Added some rhinestones, sample stamp. And on the other side, we just have an ephemera card that I've created, that vintage music paper in the back. And on the back side, I have this beautiful, beautiful, first off, it's clipped with this matching that's also on the front journal cover, vintage earring. Well, it's not really matching, I guess, but they are vintage. And then here we have this beautiful that I've added within the back cover of this journal. This beautiful crocheted embroidered doily. It's quite large. And then we have some antique French lace, which I've also added to the back. It's quite a generous piece. It's in this beautiful blush pink color, and it still has the original label on it. And again, I added some French lace here for added stability within the journal. And again, you can see the collaging that I've done on the back cover using the vintage ledger and sample designs throughout. Added a little bit of pearl here on the bottom. And that is it, you guys. This is another one of my Angie inspired journals. Let's put this clip back on. Yes, so she is definitely chunky, filled with beautiful items within. And yeah. So the only thing I have left to do is now create the bag that's going to hold it, and then she will be shipped off probably by Tuesday, Jane. So you can have it before you go on your trip. Anyway, that's all, folks. Now I'm going to definitely go to the store and pick up some items and probably get some cleaning done. All right, until next time, guys, have a blessed day, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.